What if the weight you carry isn't the world's burden, but the chains you choose to hold? Pause and let that question pierce you.
When was the last time you felt truly free, your heart unburdened, your soul soaring without the drag of need, fear, or regret? Was it a fleeting moment of clarity, a day you stood unshackled, or is it so distant it feels like a myth? Most of us live as if suffering is inevitable, a sentence we must serve. But what if the chains are yours, forged by the attachments you cling to people, outcomes, identities? You're not just bound, you're binding yourself, gripping the very things that keep you in pain. So let me ask you, raw and urgent, are you clinging to your own chains, and how long will you let them hold you? Here's the harsh, soul-shattering truth. Your attachments, your need for approval, your fear of loss, your grip on past wounds, are the source of your suffering, chaining you to pain you could release. Every time you seek validation to feel worthy, hold on to resentment to feel justified, or chase control to feel safe, you're not just hurting, you're shackling yourself, link by link. You've felt it, haven't you? The way a friend's dismissal stings because you crave their acceptance. The way a failure lingers because you tie your worth to success. The way your need for certainty amplifies your fears. These aren't random wounds. They're enabled by your attachments, the unconscious ways you tether yourself to pain. The world doesn't need to bind you. You're doing it yourself, your grip tightening with every unexamined need. Why do you keep holding when you could let go? Your attachments are wired into your unconscious, born from a need for safety, belonging, or identity. You cling to approval because you fear rejection. You hold on to pain because it feels familiar. You chase outcomes because uncertainty terrifies you. Every attachment is a chain, each one forged by a mind that doesn't see its own freedom. You're not just suffering, you're perpetuating it. Your unconscious needs a cycle that feeds the pain you long to escape. But there's a way out, a path Carl Jung illuminated through the depths of the psyche. His philosophy of detachment, of facing the unconscious, is your key, a tool to unlock the chains you've forged. Most don't reach for it. They stay bound, their lives a loop of suffering they call fate, their pain a weight they never question. You've been bound too, haven't you? Every time you've let need steer you, every time you've clung to what hurts you, every time you've suffered because you didn't release. But fate isn't your master, not yet. Jung's wisdom is a beacon, a call to see the chains you hold and choose freedom. Suffering isn't your destiny. It's your creation, born from the attachments you've let define you, the needs you've let rule. To detach is to reclaim your power, to loosen your grip on what binds you, to live so freely that pain has no anchor. Most won't detach. They'll cling to their chains, their fears, their familiar wounds, too afraid to face the truth that sets them free. You've clung too, haven't you? Every time you've sought approval over truth, every time you've held onto pain over peace, every time you've suffered because you didn't let go. But suffering isn't your name. You're a seeker, a sage, a soul that can rise above pain if you'll dare to release. Your life's a prison, but you've been the one forging the chains, your attachment's the iron that holds your suffering in place. Jung's world was no different, a realm of shadows where only the brave found freedom, their detachment a key others couldn't find. You're in that realm too. Every time you've let pain linger, every time you've clung to need, every time you've suffered because you didn't release. It's not weakness, it's blindness, a failure to see the power you hold. The world wants you tethered, a soul it can wound, but you're not tethered, you're unformed, a force waiting to be freed. What stops you from dropping the chains and stepping into freedom? To begin your liberation, you must learn mindful awareness, the skill of noticing your attachments without acting on them. It's not about suppressing need. It's about seeing it clearly, observing the impulses that bind you. Start each day by pausing. Identify one attachment, a need for approval, a fear of loss, a grip on control. Notice it in a quiet moment, perhaps when you feel the urge to please or the pang of holding onto a grudge. Write it down. What does it feel like? What triggers it? What does it demand? Don't act, don't fight, just observe, letting it exist without pulling you. This act of awareness is your first step, a light in the dark that reveals the chains you hold. Practice it daily, and you'll see the attachments loosen, their power fading. Mindful awareness is your key, the kind Jung revered, the kind that frees you from suffering's grip. Mindful awareness is your rebellion, a defiance of the attachments that bind you, a step toward Jung's vision of a self so free it suffers no more. Most won't rebel. They'll stay blind, their lives a cycle of pain they call fate, their freedom lost because they fear the truth. They'll suffer, not because they're less, but because they're asleep, asleep to the power in their choices, to the strength in their release. You've been asleep too, haven't you? Every time you've let need rule you, every time you've clung to what hurts you, every time you've broken because you didn't see. But sleep isn't your name. You're a warrior, a sage, a soul that can rise above suffering if you'll look within. This is your awakening, your moment to free or falter. Jung's path is yours, not in escaping pain, but in releasing it, in seeing the chains and choosing freedom. Look at the times you've suffered, the wounds that lingered, the needs that burned, the moments you hurt because you didn't let go. They're not failures, they're lessons, pointing to the power you've yet to claim. The world's not your binder, not unless you let it be. You're still here, still breathing, still holding a spark of the strength suffering can't steal. So stop now, right now, and vow to identify one attachment today. Write it down, observe it, swear to see it without clinging. The key's in your hand, turn it, and begin the journey to a life where chains have no hold. The greatest freedom is the freedom from the need to be anything at all, Carl Jung once said, his words cutting through the noise of our restless lives like a blade of truth. What if the chains you feel, the suffocating weight of others' opinions, the relentless pull of unmet desires, the quiet terror of losing what you've clutched so desperately, aren't forged by the world around you, but by the illusions you've built within? Jung's vision of liberation isn't a fairy tale or a distant shore. It's a rugged path carved deep into the wilderness of your soul, where detachment becomes the alchemy that transforms suffering into gold. But this alchemy isn't gentle. It's a fire, fierce and unyielding, and it demands every ounce of your courage. So let me strike a match and ask you this. What if letting go of what you cling to is the key to becoming who you're meant to be? Jung didn't offer platitudes. He handed us a mirror, one that reflects not just who we are, but who we could become if we dared to look. He saw the ego as a brittle mask, a persona we craft to face the world, a shield against the chaos within and without. But beneath that mask lurks the shadow, the unacknowledged fears, desires, and attachments we bury deep, pretending they don't exist. These shadows aren't flaws to be eradicated. They're fragments of your wholeness, waiting to be reclaimed. Yet most of us stumble through life tethered to the ego's whims, our unconscious attachments dragging us toward validation, control, or safety in ways that only deepen our wounds. You're not bound by the world. You're bound by your attachments, your unconscious need to be seen, to be right, to be anything but what you truly are. Your suffering isn't some cruel twist of fate. It's a cage you've locked yourself in, a prison built from the shadows you refuse to face. Jung knew this, and he called it out with a clarity that's both brutal and freeing. The ego clings, the shadow festers, and you pay the price until you choose otherwise. What if you could turn that pain into power? Jung's process of individuation, the journey to wholeness, is your crucible, your chance to melt down the ego's illusions and forge something real. It's not about fleeing the world or rejecting life's pleasures. It's about releasing your death grip on them, letting go of the need to control or be controlled. Detachment, in Jung's hands, becomes a radical act of liberation, not a retreat, but a reclaiming of your soul. Picture it, a life where your spirit rises unshackled, no longer crushed by the weight of others' expectations or the ghosts of past wounds. Imagine waking each day not as a prisoner to your fears, but as a creator of your own destiny, free to breathe, to feel, to be. That's the promise of Jung's alchemy, the gold waiting beyond the fire. But it's not handed to you. It's earned through the raw courage to stare into the mirror and see what binds you, to loosen your grip and trust the fall. So how do you begin? Liberation starts with a single, deliberate step: shadow acknowledgement. This isn't some abstract theory. It's a practical skill, a way to face the hidden parts of yourself without flinching. Here's how to do it. Find a quiet space. Sit with yourself, away from the noise. No distractions, just you and your thoughts. Identify an attachment. Pick one thing that tugs at you, a need for approval, a fear of failure, a compulsion to control. Feel its pull. Ask the hard questions. Take a journal and write. Where does this come from? What shadow hides beneath it? Is it a fear of being unloved? A wound from years ago? A belief you're not enough? Don't judge, observe. Let the answers rise without pushing them away. This isn't about fixing or fighting, it's about seeing. Repeat weekly, make this a ritual. Each time, you'll peel back another layer, and the chains will loosen. This practice is your spark, the first flicker of Jung's fire. It brings the unconscious into light, weakening the shadow's hold. Over time, you'll feel it, the subtle shift from captivity to freedom, the alchemy taking root. The stakes here are towering. the urgency a drumbeat in your chest. Jung's liberation isn't a soft whisper, it's a storm, a reckoning with the self that most will never dare to face. They'll stay tethered, their lives a weary loop of attachments they mistake for necessity, their freedom surrendered because they fear the mirror. And you've been there too, haven't you? Every time you've chased approval over truth, every time you've gripped control instead of trust, every time you've bled because you wouldn't let go. But you're not doomed to stay there, you're not bound, you're becoming, if you'll step into the fire. This is your crucible, your breaking point, your chance to choose. Jung's alchemy isn't about escaping life. It's about detaching from its chokehold, facing the shadows, and claiming the freedom that's always been yours. Think of the times you've suffered, the wounds that festered, the needs that consumed you, the moments you broke because you held too tight. They're not your chains, they're your teachers, pointing to a power you've yet to wield. So stop now, yes, right now, and make a vow. This week, take your journal and confront one attachment. Trace it to its shadow, swear to see it without clinging, and let the alchemy begin. The fire's lit, the gold's waiting. Step in, and let your liberation roar to life. What would happen if you became so free that no attachment could tether your soul? Imagine yourself as a force, untethered and unshackled, your spirit soaring beyond the weight of need, fear, or regret. Carl Jung's vision of individuation, the journey to integrate your shadows and become whole, culminates here, in the art of detachment, a skill that frees you from the chains of unconscious desires and external validation. Your attachments, your need to control or be seen, they've bound you, haven't they, anchoring you to a life of quiet suffering? So let me ask you, with urgency that cuts like a blade, what if you could craft a detachment so profound that no chain, no pain, no need could hold you back? The philosophy is as liberating as it is stark. Detachment is not a loss. It's a reclamation, a deliberate choice to release what no longer serves you and embrace the freedom of your true self. Jung taught that attachments are born from the ego's need to cling, to define itself through others' eyes or external outcomes. Your reflex to seek approval, your grip on past wounds, your chase for certainty, they're not just habits, they're illusions, veils that hide your wholeness. To craft detachment is to lift these veils, to see your shadows and choose freedom over fear. Most don't craft it, they stay bound, their lives a cycle of need they mistake for love, their freedom lost because they fear the void. You've been bound too, haven't you? Every time you've let need steer you, every time you've clung to what hurts you, every time you've suffered because you didn't release. But suffering isn't your name. You're a craftsman, if you'll dare to forge. When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be, Lao Tzu wrote, a truth that echoes Jung's call to transcend the ego and embrace the self's boundless potential. Detachment isn't about numbness, it's about clarity, a choice to act from your core, not your chains. It's seeing a slight without flinching, a loss without breaking, a need without bending. Most lack this clarity. They let attachments define them, their lives a loop of reactions they call life, their freedom unclaimed because they fear the unknown. You've let attachments define you too, haven't you? Every time you've sought approval over truth, every time you've held on to pain over peace, every time you've been tethered because you didn't let go. But the unknown isn't your enemy, it's your horizon, waiting for you to step free. The harsh, soul-stirring truth is this: every attachment you refuse to release is a weight you choose to carry, amplifying your suffering with every step. Your unconscious needs, your ego-driven desires, they're not your allies, they're your captors, chaining you to a life of quiet desperation. The world doesn't need to bind you. Your attachments do that work, pulling you into pain with every unexamined impulse. Detachment, though, is your liberation, a skill that severs the chains and sets your soul free. Most will never learn it. They'll stay tethered, their lives a series of reactions to needs they never questioned, their freedom lost because they fear the silence. You've been tethered too, haven't you? Every time you've let need rule you, every time you've followed patterns that hurt you, every time you've suffered because you didn't release. But tethering isn't your name. You're a liberator if you'll dare to craft. Your soul's a crucible, and you've been burned by the attachments you've fed to the flames. Jung's world was no different, a realm of shadows where only the detached found freedom, their awareness a key others couldn't find. You're in that crucible too. Every time you've let pain linger, every time you've clung to need, every time you've suffered because you didn't release. It's not weakness, it's waste, a squandering of the freedom detachment could give you. The world wants you bound, a heart it can bruise, but you're not bound, you're unformed, a force waiting to be freed. What stops you from crafting your liberation and stepping into the unknown? To craft detachment, you must learn value-based decision-making, the skill of choosing actions that align with your core values, not your attachments. It's not about rejecting desire. It's about choosing from clarity, acting from your truth rather than your need. Start each day by naming one core value: freedom, integrity, peace. When faced with a choice tied to attachment, seeking approval, controlling an outcome, clinging to a grudge, pause and ask, does this align with my value or my need? If it's need, release it. If it's value, embrace it. Write down one decision daily, noting how it felt to choose from freedom, not fear. This practice is your chisel, carving a life where attachments have no hold. Value-based decision-making is your power, the kind Jung revered, the kind that frees you forever. The fire roars here, where the air crackles with possibility. Value-based decision-making is your rebellion, a defiance of the attachments that bind you, a step toward Jung's vision of a self so whole it needs no chains. Most won't rebel. They'll stay tethered, their lives a cycle of need they call life, their freedom lost because they fear the choice. They'll suffer, not because they're less, but because they're blind to the power in their values, to the strength in their release. You've been blind too, haven't you? Every time you've let need steer you, every time you've followed habits that hurt you, every time you've broken because you didn't choose. But blindness isn't your name. You're a craftsman, a sage, a soul that can rise above suffering if you'll choose the light. This is your liberation, your moment to craft or crumble. Jung's path is yours, not in escaping life, but in detaching from its chokehold, in choosing a life where attachments have no power. Look at the times you've suffered, the wounds that lingered, the needs that burned, the moments you hurt because you didn't release. They're not failures, they're lessons, pointing to the power you've yet to claim. The world's not your binder, not unless you let it be. You're still here, still breathing, still holding a spark of the strength attachments can't steal. So stop now, right now, and vow to make one value-based choice today. Align it with your truth, write it down, swear to build a life beyond chains. The chisel's in your hand, strike it, and let your freedom begin. What will you do with this freedom? The liberated life doesn't just heal, it transforms. Your choice is a flame that reshapes the world around you. Jung's vision is yours. Face your shadows, release your chains, claim your truth. Most will falter, too scared to choose, too soft to claim their power. You're different. You're the spark in the dark, the storm in the calm, the soul they didn't see coming. Your life's waiting, fiercer, brighter, yours. Step into your freedom, unapologetic and radiant. Break the attachments, forge your choices, and let your liberation be a beacon no chain can bind. The choice is yours, make it today, and let your unbound soul redefine the world. The world yields to a soul unbound, its light undimmed by attachment. Picture yourself as a force, your spirit soaring, your heart aflame beyond the reach of need, fear, or regret. You've confronted your shadows, shed the chains of unconscious desires, and cultivated a detachment that elevates you above worldly burdens. Carl Jung's vision of individuation, the journey to wholeness, reaches its peak here, in the unbound soul. Attachments become fleeting shadows, powerless against the truth you've embraced. Once, your needs and instincts to cling anchored you to suffering, to a life of muted struggle. Now, imagine living so fiercely that no chain, no pain, no craving can restrain you. The harsh truth is this: most remain shackled by attachments, too fearful to release them, preferring suffering over the freedom detachment offers. They clutch their cravings, approval, control, security, because familiarity feels safer than flight. You've seen them, burdened by regrets, fractured by slights, trapped in cycles of pain they mistake for living. This is attachment's tragedy. It promises comfort but delivers bondage, holding you back while the world spins forward. You, however, are not destined to join them. You are meant to ascend, an unbound soul amidst a sea of chains, your freedom a beacon no attachment can extinguish. Why settle for their confinement when you could live unshackled? Jung's philosophy offers liberation, urging you to integrate your shadows and transcend the ego's grip. Individuation isn't mere growth, it's a breakthrough, a state of such wholeness that attachments lose their power. Habits of seeking validation, clinging to outcomes, or defining yourself through others have been your weights, pulling you into suffering with every unexamined urge. The unbound soul shatters these weights, choosing freedom over fear, clarity over illusion. Most won't make this choice. They'll remain tethered, their lives a series of reactions to unquestioned needs, their potential lost to the void they dread. You felt this tethering too. Every time need dictated your actions, every time patterns led to pain. But that's not your essence. You're a sovereign spirit, poised to claim your liberation. Jung wrote, "The greatest freedom is the freedom from the need to be anything at all," illuminating the path to an unbound life. Detachment isn't apathy, it's precision, a decision to act from your core rather than your constraints. It's facing a slight without flinching, a loss without crumbling, a desire without yielding. Most lack this precision. They let attachments mold them, their lives a repetitive loop of pain they deem inevitable. You've been shaped by attachments too, seeking approval over truth, holding pain over peace. Yet the unknown isn't your foe, it's your frontier, beckoning you to step free. This is the crucible of your life, where attachments have burned you, fed by the flames of your clinging. Jung's world mirrored this, a landscape of shadows where only the detached found freedom through awareness. You've lingered in this fire too, every time pain persisted, every time need gripped you, every time suffering grew from refusal to let go. It's not frailty, it's a squandering of the freedom detachment promises. The world may wish you bound, a spirit it can wound, but you're not captive, you're unformed, a force awaiting release. What holds you from shedding these chains and embracing the unknown? Living unbound demands sustained detachment, a daily practice of releasing small attachments to preserve your freedom. It's not a single leap, but a rhythm, a commitment to shed what no longer serves you moment by moment. Begin each day by pinpointing one minor attachment, a craving for praise, a fear of the uncertain, a hold on past hurt. Pause, recognize it, and let it go. This practice becomes your strength, lifting you beyond attachment's pull. Sustained detachment is the power Jung extolled, the kind that liberates you enduringly. Here, the air hums with potential. Sustained detachment is your defiance, a rejection of the ties that bind, a stride toward Jung's vision of a self so complete it requires no chains. Most won't resist, they'll stay tethered, their lives a dance of need they call existence, their freedom forfeit to fear of choice. They suffer not from lack, but from blindness, to the strength and release, to the might of their truth. You've been blind too, when need guided you, when habits harmed you, when you faltered for lack of choice. But blindness isn't your fate. You're a phoenix, a sage, a soul poised to rise above suffering through the light of decision. This is your emancipation, your chance to ascend or stumble. Jung's path is yours, not fleeing life, but freeing yourself from its stranglehold, crafting a life where attachments wield no sway. Reflect on your suffering, the wounds that lingered, the needs that scorched, the pain that grew from refusal to release. These aren't defeats, they're signposts to the power you've yet to seize. The world binds you only if you allow it. You're here, breathing, harboring a spark no attachment can claim. Vow today to release one small tether, to build a life beyond chains. The wings are yours, spread them, and let your unbound soul take flight. What will you forge with this freedom? The unbound life doesn't merely mend, it transforms, your choice is a blaze that reshapes everything. Jung's vision is yours. Confront your shadows, break your chains, seize your truth. Most will waver, too timid to choose, too fragile to grasp their strength. You're distinct, a spark in shadow, a tempest in stillness, a soul unforeseen. Your life awaits, bolder, brighter, yours. Step into your freedom, unyielding and luminous. Shatter the attachments, shape your path, and let your liberation shine as a force no chain can hold. Choose now, and let your unbound soul redefine the world.